part. When I'm lonely and I need you, will you wipe away my tears? Will you take me to your garden where we first did meet? When I saw you in the clouds, when I saw you in my dreams, I believed you were my master, who I'd loved for years. When I'm tired and I've grown weary, will you whisper in my ear that it's time to cross your threshold, so we're always near? Now I've told you that I love you. Will you open up my heart? Will you show me how to love you, so we'll never part? Avatar.
A short memory from that 100 years back, and you'll dedicate a song to Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. गाते चलो गाते चलो गाते चलो गाते चलो मेहरा मेहरा गाते चलो मेहरा मेहरा गाते चलो मेहरा मेहरा गाते चलो मेहरा मेहरा गाते चलो काम करते चलो काम करते चलो काम करते चलो काम करते चलो नाम जपते चलो नाम जपते चलो नाम जपते चलो सत्य कहते चलो सत्य कहते चलो झूठ सजते चलो झूठ सजते चलो मेहर धन का खजाना बढ़ाते चलो मेहर धन का खजाना बढ़ाते चलो मेहर गाते चलो मेहर गाते चलो मेहर गाते चलो मेहर गाते चलो ओ मेहर गाते चलो मेहर गाते चलो मेहर मेहर जय जय मेहर 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 जय जय 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 मेहर गाते चलो गाते चलो गाते चलो गाते चलो मेहर मेहर गाते चलो मेहर मेहर गाते चलो मेहर मेहर गाते चलो मेहर मेहर गाते चलो। बोलिए अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय जय मेहर बाबा। Thank you.
Now I've told you that I love you. Will you open up my heart? Will you show me how to love you so we'll never part? When I'm lonely and I need you, will you wipe away my tears? Will you take me to your garden where we first did meet? When I saw you in the clouds, when I saw you in my dreams, I believed you were my master, who I'd loved for years. When I'm tired and I've grown weary, will you whisper in my ear that it's time to cross your threshold, so we're always near? Now I've told you that I love you. Will you open up my heart? Will you show me how to love you so we'll never part? Avatar Meherabad Ki Jai.
Meherabad is in everything. Meherabad is in everyone. Don't worry. Be happy. Leave everything to Baba. Have complete faith in Baba. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. You may be a saint or singer. With Baba you're always a winner. Don't worry. Be happy. happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Jai Baba, Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Jai Baba, Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Roll. This is a song by Harry Belafonte, a Jamaican singer who was a favorite of Meherabad. I'm ready. Day-o, day-o, daylight come and me one go home. Day, it's a day, it's a day, it's a day. Daylight come and me one go home. Walk all night and a drink a rum. Daylight come and me one go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me one go home. Come Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. Come Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. Day is a day, oh. Daylight come and me one go home. Day is a day, is a day, is a day. Daylight come and me one go home. A beautiful bunch of ripe bananas. Daylight come and me one go home. High tea lady, black tarantula. Daylight come and me one go home. Come Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. Come Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. Day-o, day-o, daylight come and me one go home. Day, it's a 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 day. Oh. Daylight come and me one go home.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। जीवन के संघर्ष में तड़पन है दिन रैन, मेहर सुमिरन के बिना नहीं पाऊंगा चैन। तो गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए। गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए। गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए। जग से मोह ना मोड़िए, जग से मोह ना मोड़िए, पर उसमें ना खोइए, पर उसमें ना खोइए। मोह वासना त्यागिए, मोह वासना त्यागिए। निजी काम न छोड़िए, निजी काम न छोड़िए। हंसते रहिए सबसे मिलिए, हंसते रहिए सबसे मिलिए। और जय बाबा बोलिए, गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए। गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए। संचय उतना कीजिए, संचय उतना कीजिए, लालच में ना खोइए, लालच में ना खोइए, जीवन पथ पर जाइए, जीवन पथ पर जाइए, मेहर सुमिरन कीजिए, मेहर सुमिरन कीजिए, प्यार दीजिए प्यार लीजिए, प्यार दीजिए प्यार लीजिए, और जय बाबा बोलिए, गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए, गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए, भरम पतल को तोड़िए, भरम पतल को तोड़िए, शाश्वत जीवन पाइए, शाश्वत जीवन पाइए, सत्य ज्ञान अपनाइए, सत्य ज्ञान अपनाइए, परमानंदन पाइए, परमानंदन पाइए, मधुसूदन बस मेहर गाइए, मधुसूदन बस मेहर गाइए, और जय बाबा बोलिए, गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए, गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए, गाइए सब गाइए, मेहर के गुण गाइए। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Meera. She was very beautiful, the wife of a royal prince in North India. He later became a king. Meera loved Krishna with all her heart. Her husband did not like the way she was going about on the streets, for she was the queen, and queens did not mix with the crowd. She would enter the huts of the poor, the name of Krishna on her lips as she sang. She sang. She suffered many trials and threats to test her love for Krishna. She was locked in a room. Her food was poisoned, a cobra, in a bouquet of flowers. She lived in a bouquet of flowers. She had Krishna, and nothing happened. He protected her. She refused to have anything to do with anyone but her Lord Krishna. Finally, the king drove her away. She said, "If the king drives me out, I have a place, but if the Lord of the universe is displeased, I have no place." The people turned against her. As years passed, she looked radiant in her rags. Then the king came and fell at her feet because she was sincere. When she died, all revered her, and now people repeat her bhajans, songs. Baba says, "I am Krishna. I am Krishna. I want all of you to love me as Meera loved me." Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Baidul was the doctor of his village in Persia. Boil garlic in oil and put few drops of the mixture in patient's ears. Taking by Baba's name cured all sorts of diseases. He made some patients well, and his fame spread so much that he even gave a dying cow some drops of the tonic, extending her life too. But the fact is that the patients did not get well by his remedy, but by his full and supreme faith in Baba. He sits with Baba and explains all the talk, facts and stories. Baidul said, "Baba, only you made all my patients well." Baidul never took money from the patients. It was Baidul's firm faith that Baba's name would cure the patients and that made the tonic work. If Baidul had a slightest doubt, the faintest Speak of wavering about it. It would not have worked and no one would have recovered. So have firm and strong faith in Meher Baba. Meher Baba Ki Jai.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। जो कोई जैसी करनी करता वैसा ही फल खाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। क्या संधु क्या संत गृहस्थी, क्या राजा क्या रानी, क्या संधु क्या संत गृहस्थी, क्या राजा क्या रानी। प्रभु की पुस्तक में लिखी है सबकी कर्म कहानी। प्रभु की पुस्तक में लिखी है सबकी संत कहानी। अंतर्यामी अंदर बैठा सबका हिसाब लगाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। जो कोई जैसी करनी करता वैसा ही फल पाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। बड़े बड़े कानून प्रभु के, बड़ी बड़ी मर्यादा। बड़े बड़े कानून प्रभु के, बड़ी बड़ी मर्यादा। किसको कोड़ी कम नहीं मिलती, मिले न पाई ज्यादा। किसको कोड़ी कम नहीं मिलती, मिले न पाई ज्यादा। इसीलिए तो वह दुनिया का जगतपति कहलाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। मेरे बाबा के दरबार में सब भक्तों का खाता। अवतार मेहर बाबा की
Jay, I'd like to share some thoughts on this occasion of the celebration of Jai Baba, everyone. I'd like to share some thoughts on this occasion of the celebration of 100 years since Meher Baba first visited Meherabad. In 1955, when Francis Brabazon first went to Meherabad, it reminded him of an outback Australian station with its long, low buildings and outbuildings and its coming and going of people. Francis was comparing it to Elsie Station, a property where he worked as a roustabout for a shearing company in the 1920s in far west New South Wales. But it wasn't the buildings at Elsie Station that drew his attention so much as the wind that relentlessly swept through the place. It was also near here, in the midst of this same wind, that the great Australian explorers Burke and Wills about 70 years earlier died, trying to discover the secrets of this strange land. Francis was also a kind of explorer, or better still, a spiritual seeker, searching the unknown land of his interior landscape. In his poetic biography, The Wind of the Word, he opens with a dramatic picture of this wind that sweeps in from the interior, covering everything in dust. He saw the wind as a restless captive spirit, and he felt mysteriously carried along with it. He writes, "And it raced on, and I went with it, for it was the wind's time to explore all places, sound all things that would sound, seeking a throat through which it could utter the song, locked in a continent since the first dreaming." Since his teenage years, Francis had always been affected by the majesty and beauty of nature and wrote poetry that attempted to capture it. But this all-embracing wind penetrated him more deeply than anything else, and he felt a kind of divine calling whistling in his ear to become its poet. About 30 years later at Meherabad, Francis found the source of this wind to be his beloved Meher Baba. It was as if Baba's hand movements, his gestures, his striding across Meherabad set a new wind in motion, a universal wind, the same wind that was present in the biblical account of creation. It was, as Francis described it, the wind of the Word, and it reached into all the corners of the world and into every heart, including his. It was a wind longingly seeking a throat through which a new but ancient divine message could sound. In 1955 at Meherabad, Francis also discovered that the wind came to rest in Meher Baba. And what began as a vague inkling that sounded in the wind in outback Australia now spoke directly to him, asking him to write a book called Stay with God. It was to become Francis's greatest book, and it began at Meherabad. Francis never wrote a poem about Meherabad, but he did jot down some beginning lines that also conjure up something of the landscape of the Australian outback. Here are the lines. At Meherabad, rain is ashamed to pour its water, for there the grace of God-man is ever flowing. At Meherabad the earth is barren, because the God of fertility has taken the dust of the beloved's feet. At Meherabad, God-man commissioned me to write a book, which he named Stay with God. I first arrived at Meherabad 50 years ago and found the same dry, desolate landscape. Arriving at Meherabad was the end of a non-stop journey from Brisbane through Singapore, Mumbai, Pune to the door of the Samadhi. I was drawn to Meherabad after being summoned by the wind of his word that sounded in Baba's discourses and other messages. I had also met Francis and was struck by the unshakable conviction and depth of his surrender to Meher Baba that is expressed in Stay with God. Arriving at Meherabad for the first time, I was utterly exhausted and reeling from the shock of the otherworldliness that was India. I entered into the Samadhi and placed my head at Baba's feet and waited quietly, but felt nothing. I then went outside and got myself a drink of water, and still I felt nothing and was ready to walk back down the hill. Then I noticed under a nearby tree what looked like little tombstones, and I went over to see what they were or who they belonged to. As I walked around them, I read out their names out loud: Moti, Warrior, Foundy, Kipper, Kippy and Cracker. Then I realised that these were some of Baba's pets, and I started to weep and couldn't stop. I wondered, who is this man who buries his pets beside him? And I thought that their resting place in years to come will be the envy of many. What this experience at Meherabad revealed to me was that Meher Baba was not only fully God, but also, as Francis described him, the perfect man. Reading Baba's discourses and messages in Australia gave me a sense of Meher Baba's divinity, but these little insignificant tombstones at Meherabad gave me a sense of his humanity, a glimpse of what a totally lovable person he is. Instead of "Stay with God," Baba imprinted in my heart the title "Stay with the God-Man." The Samadhi at Meherabad is the pivot around which the world rotates, and like any axis, a sense of stillness is felt just around its turning point. This is what I have tried to convey in this poem, which I'd like to finish with. It is called Midday at the Samadhi. The hot sun evaporates time's shadow. Silence dozes around the blue stones. A lone dog circles in the dust. Mind's matches go soggy as noon's dead weight pulls all life to a standstill. Jai Baba.
प्रेमी बन गए, मेरे नाम रटते रटते हम बाबा के प्रेमी बन गए। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है, मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। दर से आपके खाली लौटाना कोई बाबा, 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 लौटाना कोई बाबा, लौटाना कोई बाबा, लौटाना कोई बाबा, लौटाना कोई बाबा। दर पे आपके में है, दर पे आपके में है, संस्कारों की होली है। दर पे आपके में है, संस्कारों की होली है। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है, मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। कर दो जी करम हम पर सबके मेहर बाबा तुम, कर दो जी करम हम पर सबके मेहर बाबा तुम, कर दो जी करम हम पर सबके मेहर बाबा तुम, कर दो जी करम हम पर सबके मेहर बाबा तुम, सबके मेहर बाबा तुम, सबके मेहर बाबा तुम, सबके मेहर बाबा तुम, सबके मेहर बाबा तुम। तुम्हारी कृपा से ही, तुम्हारी कृपा से ही झोली सबकी भर गई है, तुम्हारी कृपा से ही झोली सबकी भर गई है। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है, मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। मुश्किलों में प्रेमियों को देते हैं सहारा वो, 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 देते हैं सहारा वो, देते हैं सहारा वो, देते हैं सहारा वो, देते हैं सहारा वो। मेहर बाबा वो दाता, मेहर बाबा वो दाता, सारी सृष्टि के वाली है। मेहर बाबा वो दाता, सृष्टि के वाली है। मेरे मेहर बाबा की राज मेहर बाबा का, राज मेहर बाबा का, राज मेहर बाबा का। मेहराबाद के मिट्टी में, मेहराबाद के मिट्टी में मेहर प्रेम समाया है। मेहराबाद के मिट्टी में मेहर प्रेम समाया है। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। शान क्या निराली है, 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 शान क्या निराली है। मेहर नाम रटते रटते, मेहर नाम रटते रटते हम बाबा के प्रेमी बन गए। मेहर नाम रटते रटते हम बाबा के प्रेमी बन गए। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। मेरे मेहर बाबा की शान क्या निराली है। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
थैंक यू बाबा।
आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
जय बाबा।
अभी सिद्धार्थ वर्मा, प्लीज़ टेक ओवर द चार्ज एंड स्टार्ट योर सिंगिंग। सिद्धार्थ वर्मा। इज जेफरी बीडल हियर? पैट्रिक जेफरी। सिद्धार्थ भैया, समय का ध्यान रखना, बीच में नहीं रोकना पड़े।
आपने 20 मिनट दिए, 19 को खत्म कर दिया।
चेक चेक।
करोगे तभी बजाएंगे ना। अब मेरे एफर्ट्स कितना लग रहा है मुझे पता है।
चेक चेक। चेक चेक 1 2 3 चेक। चेक चेक चेक। चेक चेक 1 2 3 चेक। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। आज का जो ओकेजन है सबको मालूम है उसके बारे में, इसलिए मैं ज़्यादा समय उसमें नहीं लूँगा। म्यूज़िक इज़ बेटर देन जस्ट टॉकिंग। बट एक चीज़ मैं सिर्फ कहना चाहता था कि जब बाबा यहाँ 100 साल पहले आए थे तो उनको पहले से मालूम था कि मैं इस ज़मीन पे आके यहाँ पे मेरा आगे जाके पूरा आश्रम रहेगा, मेरा अल्टीमेटली मेरी समाधि भी यहीं पे रहेगी। तो बाबा को तो पहले से मालूम था। और उसके बाद जो कुछ भी हुआ वो बाबा की मर्ज़ी से हुआ। जो कुछ भी हो रहा है बाबा की मर्ज़ी से ही हो रहा है। आज हम यहाँ पे 100 साल बाद जो भी लोग यहाँ आए हैं, आज एकत्रित हुए हैं, सबसे बड़ी बात यह कि बाबा ने आप सब के लिए 100 साल पहले सोचा था। आप सब आज जो यहाँ बैठे हैं, आप वही लोग हैं जिनके बारे में बाबा ने 100 साल पहले सोचा था कि 100 साल कंप्लीट होने पे ये सब यहाँ आएंगे। कितने लोग जो आना चाहते थे नहीं आ पाए, जल्दी कुछ भी रीज़न होगा, लेकिन हम सब जो यहाँ जो बैठे हैं इतने भाग्यशाली हैं, इतने तकदीर वाले कि बाबा ने 100 साल पहले आपको इन्विटेशन कार्ड भेज दिया था। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। जहां को देख तूने लफ्जों की सौगातें खुद को जाने क्यों खामोश बना रखा है। यूं तो तेरे होठ, यूं तो तेरे होठ सिले हैं साकी, सबको मगर तूने नजरों से पिला रखा है। मेहरबान तेरा नाम, मेहरबान जब से दीवाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ। तेरे इश्क में जब से दीवाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ। तेरे इश्क में जब से दीवाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ। लोग कहते हैं भर दे तू झोली मेरी, लोग कहते हैं भर दे तू झोली मेरी। हाँ, लोग कहते हैं भर दे तू झोली मेरी। तेरा नाम ही मेरा खजाना हुआ। मेहरबान मगर चिलमन में छुपा रखा है। कैसे पहुँचूं तेरे दर तक बाबा, कैसे पहुँचूं तेरे दर तक बाबा, घर तो तूने सितारों में बना रखा है। खत्म कर मुझसे छुपने के ये सिलसिले, खत्म कर मुझसे छुपने के ये सिलसिले, तय करता रहूंगा मैं ये फासले, तय करता रहूंगा मैं ये फासले। खत्म कर मुझसे छुपने के ये सिलसिले, तय करता रहूंगा मैं ये फासले। जब तक मैं तेरा तू मेरा ना हुआ, कौन मेहरबान तेरा नाम, मेहरबान तेरा नाम, मेहरबान। तेरे इश्क में जब से दीवाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ। तेरे इश्क में जब से दीवाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ। लोग कहते हैं भर दे तू झोली मेरी, लोग कहते हैं भर दे तू झोली मेरी, लोग कहते हैं भर दे तू झोली मेरी। तेरा नाम ही मेरा खजाना हुआ, मेहरबान तेरा नाम, मेहरबान तेरा नाम, मेहरबान। तेरे इश्क में जब से दीवाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ। तेरे इश्क में जब से दीवाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ, सारे आलम में मेरा फसाना हुआ। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। नेक्स्ट
This second song is actually a song हमने अभी last week especially for this today's occasion. For us it is not just 100 years, of course celebration है 100 साल का, but for us it is also Meherabad's birthday, 100th birthday. So this is actually Meherabad ka birthday song, and we just wrote it last week, as I said. We are very excited to present it. If you feel like joining in, please do. If you feel like dancing, you're welcome to. This is after all a birthday song. Jai Baba.
So let's join together. 1, 2, 3, start. Right claps. And we all can sing together. It's very simple. Na 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 एहसान है मेहर हमको यहाँ बुलाया है। ना 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 ये तेरा एहसान है मेहर हमको यहाँ बुलाया है। एक सदी का जश्न मनाने पावन पल जो बुझाई। मेहराबाद में एक कुआं है जिसने तेरी प्यास बुझाई। तेरे छू जाने से उसने गंगा जल की हस्ती पाई। शीतल जल का कतरा पी के मेरा मन मुस्काया है। जैसे सूखी हो धरती और झूम के सावन आया है। आओ मेहर, आओ मेहर, मेरा बाद में गाओ मेहर। आओ मेहर, आओ मेहर, मेरा बाद में गाओ मेहर। आओ मेहर। ना 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 ना। चलती है जहाँ पावन धूनी वलियों का है जिसका मान। जलती है जहाँ पावन धूनी वलियों का है जिसका मान। उस धूनी की लो पहन कर धीरे धीरे ढलती शाम। जल जाए मेरा मैं उसमें राख बिखरे तेरी डगर। पथिकों के पैरों से लिपटे पहुँचे वो बस तेरे दर। आओ मेहर, आओ मेहर, मेरा बाद में गाओ मेहर। आओ मेहर, आओ मेहर, मेरा बाद में गाओ मेहर। आओ मेहर। चलते हैं जहाँ बादल धीमे रहती है मीठी पुरवाई। चलते हैं जहाँ बादल धीमे रहती है मीठी पुरवाई। उखड़ी टूटी सांसों ने भी इस दर पे ही राहत पाई। इंद्रधनुष का ध्वज लहराता सात रंग की लहरें आई। जो डूबा है इन लहरों में उसने तेरी हंसी पाई। आओ मेहर, आओ मेहर, मेरा बाद में आओ मेहर। आओ मेहर, आओ मेहर, मेरा बाद में गाओ मेहर। गाओ मेहर, गाओ मेहर, गाओ मेहर, गाओ मेहर। Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Meherabad, happy birthday to you.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। हैप्पी बर्थडे टू मेहराबाद।
हैप्पी बर्थडे। जय बाबा। थैंक यू सो मच। Now before we invite further singing by Shri Gopal Krishna Meher and Group and Dr. Ajit Soni, we have little change. We are now inviting Jeffrey Beadle to share a very short script about this whole program. Our committee decided that we will print out one short brochure about 10 pages to be distributed among Baba lovers, but then this is put on Avatar Meher Baba website, so anybody who is interested, he can get it printed yourself. And this is what is there in that brochure that Jeffrey Beadle is sharing with you. Jeffrey Beadle, please come here.
Okay, great, thank you. That's good. I think that's good, yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. And I would thank the Library on the Hill Committee for asking me to participate in this wonderful program. This is just a short piece on the claiming of Meherabad, as it has been called. Walking all the way from Khusru quarters in Ahmednagar at lightning speed, Baba and about 12 men arrived in Aragon on the 4th of May, 1923. Arriving at Khan Sahib Khusru Irani's property, Baba sat near a neem tree and pointed out the plot of land that would become Saint Galori Shah's resting place. The saint predicted that soon after his passing and entombment on the land, it would be occupied by a highly distinguished spiritual personality. And of course, that did come to pass. The property was empty and was known as Jungle Land. According to Ramju's handwritten diary, he recalled the land being in a state of decay and destruction with a turbulent atmosphere. The land was used by the army during the First World War during the years of 1914 to 1919. There was much talk about Arangown before they arrived. Baba had informed the men they would have to suffer physically during the second phase of being with him. The Mandali took it all as part of his work and remained steadfast. Even before seeing the property, Dr. Ghani remarked, "In that case, you should call it Hirangown, Hardship Village, instead of Arangown." In this way, Ghani could sense what was become their next venture. Baba had prepared the men well for this challenging period of their life together. However, Ramju noted that the village also had a distinct spiritual heritage of mystics and saints. More on that later. Baba and his party were greeted by a watchman who gave them a tour of the property and told them the buildings were built by the British military to be used during the First World War and were sold to Khan Sahib Khusru at an auction. At that time, the land was nearly 50 acres. There were wells, but no buckets to fetch water, to be found to satisfy their thirst from a long, hard journey. The well near the public road was filled by water by other wells or tanks on higher ground less than half a kilometer away. The well was determined to be suitable for drinking and at times was well guarded. Khusru had also purchased some water tanks to store water. The residents of Arangown were described as very poor and made their living farming the land. A local Christian was approached named Gangaram Limbati Pawar. He was told they were all pilgrims in need of some food. Gangaram said he could only afford some bakri and chutney. Baramji told him it did not matter as long as the food was prepared. He asked Gangaram if he could also loan them a bucket and rope so they could drink some water. Baramji also asked the man if he could come back in an hour for the food. Meanwhile, the hot-tempered Rustam was very upset by the sudden departure of Baba and the Mandali. He got on his motorcycle and drove off frantically in search of Baba. After asking several people, he was told that a group of men was seen walking very fast on the road towards Dund. Finally, Rustam found Baba at his father's land in Arangown. He asked Baba why he left Khusru quarters. Baba told him he did not want to stay there anymore since it caused so much trouble in the family. Rustam was very upset by this and said, "It was because of your advice I agreed to marry in the first place. If you don't attend the wedding, I won't go through with it." Baba inquired, "What will your family relations and guests say if you cancel the wedding?" To which Rustam replied, "What do I care for what they think or say? I'm only concerned with you. I am not concerned about others." The Divine Beloved was pleased by Rustam's conviction. He calmed Rustam down and came up with a solution to make peace with the situation. Baba told him he would not be present at the wedding, but would bless Rustam and Frani's marriage privately after the ceremony. Rustam was pleased and agreed to Baba's compromise. Baba sent Rustam back with Masaji to gather up their belongings and bring them back to Meherabad. After Rustam and Masaji's departure, Baba asked the Mandali, "What do you think of this place?" With much laughter, the men all agreed, "There's nothing here." It's hard to imagine because there's so much here now. Baba became rather stern and replied, "What do you mean? Where the fakir stays, there is everything. There is nothing lacking in the company of the fakir." Baramji went back to Gangaram's house and came back with freshly baked bread. So their first night's supper consisted of bread, water, and chutney. Gangaram also brought a kerosene lamp for them to use. Unknowingly, he received the Avatar's blessing. May there always be light in your house. The men's belongings arrived that same night. Baba spent the first night near the neem tree. The men made their bedding on a platform and settled down for the night. With the wind howling and dust swirling about, it did not make for a comfortable night's sleep. Sometime during a night, a snake was killed. A major shift was felt by the men from the very first day of work. Their morning prayers were stopped to allow more time for work. For breakfast, only plain tea was served, whereas before they were used to eating buttered bread. The next day, the Army's post office building near the railroad tracks, which was well constructed and the only building on the property in decent condition, Baba and the Mandali cleaned it up to make it their living quarters for the night. There was also an old run-down building made of clay east of the railroad tracks, which had served as a dining hall and needed much work, plus some temporary structures that were used as living quarters for soldiers stationed in the village. The next day, the 6th of May, Baba suggested they clean out the old mess hall, and the Mandali put much care into cleaning and fixing it up. The building was large with 2 great halls with a stone floor and a bathroom. Overall, the building was in very poor shape. Much plastering and stonework was needed. Baidul was very useful with masonry skills. The rough Shahabad stone floor pieces were lying about in excess, and the heavy stones needed to be hauled out of the building. Baba worked alongside the Mandali from morning until evening. There was little time to themselves. Baba's orders came first. The Mandali became completely absorbed in their master's work. Right after morning tea, water had to be drawn from the well to mix the plaster, and work was begun. Ramju described it as stiff labor work, leaving time only for the bare necessities of a daily diet of dal and rice. Each man hauled their own water from the well. The results were apparent, and the property went through quite a transformation in just a few days of intensive, hard work. The following day, Ghani, Ramju, Sadashiv, Mantanji all arrived and saw how much work was to be done. The environment was totally different, new to them. Arangown was a wild, empty land. Everyone had to draw their own water from the wells and wash their own clothes. Baba met with each of the Mandali individually and explained the situation. The life here is unpleasant and rough. All of you will have to labor like coolies and do farming or seek employment in Ahmednagar, which would mean cycling 6 miles both ways every day. It would be better for you to find jobs in either Bombay, Pune, Lonavala, or elsewhere. Even though you live somewhere else away from me, If you carry out my orders, my connection with you will remain intact. Remember, I am everywhere. I am always with you. Baba also emphasized that as long as they followed his orders, their distance from him would not interfere with their spiritual advancement. Ramju recalled, for those not involved in the labor and restoration work, there are only 2 standing orders: getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and saying prayers, plus attending their places of individual worship every day. Then there were additional orders given to each Mandali member individually. Ramju decided to remain in Arangaon. Sadashiv, Manchanji, and Bashudar returned home. Ghani was undecided. Meherabad had some plans to farm the land. Bullock carts, plows, and pumps were ordered through Rustam. The men would take an hour break at noon for lunch, and then work would resume. After restoration work was done, the walls were whitewashed with a strong lime solution using brushes. The work was hard on the men's hands. Despite treating their sore palms with oil, the pain lasted for several days. The work continued until the 22nd of May, and the mess hall was ready. Everyone packed up what they had in the post office and moved into the newly restored building. Baba chose where each person slept, and they would spread out their bedding on the floor, and everyone made a personal space for themselves. Besides their clothes, everyone had very few personal items. Baba placed a picture of Vipasni Maharaj on the wall, and incense was burned underneath it. Everything was set up, including all the kitchen utensils. Towards the end of their stay in Arangaon, Baba met with his Mandali and discussed with them the hardships that were to come, and gave each one the option to remain and carry on with him in the life of hardship, or to be independent and free of any bindings with him. The third option was to be independent but follow his orders. Some of the men opted to be independent and free of any orders from him. Others opted to go to their homes and fulfill their beloved's orders. 13 of the Mandali decided to remain at their master's side and carry on with his will and wish through the hard days before them. Once the restoration of the dining halls were completed, the men moved their belongings into the hall and made it into a home for themselves. One night, Baba was seated on his bedding. His legs were being massaged by 2 of the Mandali. Gustaji felt something under his pillow and found a snake curled up under it. Padri moved swiftly and killed it. This was a surprise because nobody noticed any snakes during the restoration work. Gustaji had swept the area before laying down his bedding. Many scorpions were also found and killed. Baba gave the order just to be safe. It was best to move everything back to the post office building. The men packed up everything again and moved back to their former living quarters. While the men were getting settled, Baba decided Arangaon is not such a nice place. It is not good to remain here now. Think of some other place which is free of snakes and scorpions. The men made some suggestions, but none to Baba's liking. Eventually, Pendu suggested Quetta. This was agreed upon. Previously, Baba promised Pilamai he would visit her in Karachi, which was on the way. Baba added, not only should we leave Arangaon, but we should also leave Ahmednagar district, Bombay province in India altogether, and go to Persia, Iran, by way of Quetta and Karachi. The men had to pack up everything. The pump Rustam brought was returned to him. The standing order for farming equipment was canceled. Everything was shut down in preparation for their journey. Before they left the area, a discussion came about as to what to call the property. Baba came up with Meherabad, Abad meaning flourishing, or prosperous settlement, or colony. A sign was painted with a new name, and Nervus posted it up between 2 trees. Meherabad was left for a time so the Avatar could continue with his universal work. Baba led the men on their journey north with just a few belongings needed for their travels. What was once home to the British Army became a spiritual battlefield. All 5 of the perfect masters were still in the state of Maharashtra, not too far from what would become the center for Avatar Meherabad's work. And just a note on the region's spiritual history, Arangown means forest village, and from ancient days it is known to be an area that was home to some saints in its past. Starting around the 9th to 10th century, a perfect master named Vithoba, one of the names of Krishna, lived in the area. After Vithoba left his body, a temple was erected for him, and it became a pilgrimage. The town was once known as Chota, Little Pandari, a reference to Pandharpur, a famous and high holy place of pilgrimage for Hindus. In the 17th century, there was a saint who lived in the area with a very high reputation, Vahibu. Legend has it that one day during a full moon festival, the townspeople were celebrating Lord Vishnu. Vahi started rubbing his hands together. When asked why he was doing so, he said it was to put out a fire that started at a gathering in Pandharpur. To much amazement, it was noted the saint's hands had become blackened like charcoal. It was later discovered that a fire had indeed started in a congregation tent in Pandharpur that was easily put under control. Vahibu is also remembered for the feat of being buried alive, also known as Jivan Samadhi. True to our beloved's words from the final declaration, I have not come to establish anything, I have come to put life into the old. I have not come to establish retreats or ashrams. I create them for the purpose of my universal work. Avatar Meherabad Ki Jai.
Thank you, Jeffrey, so much for this summarized version of this particular episode of Baba's coming to Meherabad first time. Now we are inviting Sri Gopi ji and his group for the song that they are presenting, and Dr. Ajit Soni is requested to be here so that he can follow this group.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. This bhajan is one written by Madhusudan ji, and he sang this for the first Amar Tithi. The song is about Meherabad and its holy soil of Meherabad. The gist of the song is Baba's lotus feet have touched every inch of this sacred earth. O Meher lovers, apply this holy soil onto your forehead. And this tells about what all happened in Meherabad over the 100 years. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. के चरणों ने स्पर्शी, मेहर के चरणों ने स्पर्शी ये सारी धरती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर के चरणों ने स्पर्शी ये सारी धरती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। यही वह मेहराबाद, यहाँ हुए कितने आबाद। यहाँ ले रहे सबके प्रीतम चिर चिर विश्रांति। मेरे प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेरे प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। यही है पहला मेहराश्रम, यहाँ मिटाए लाखों भ्रम। भवनिद्रा से उसने जगाया सबको दिन राती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। हर कण याद दिलाता है, गत इतिहास बताता है। यहाँ प्यार की बही है जमुना, बही है वेत्रवती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। यहाँ हुए कितने सहवास, बुझी प्यार की सबकी प्यास। स्मृति से तन मन हो रोमांचित आगे भर आती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। किसका गुस्सा झगड़ा है, एक प्यार से तोड़ा है। यहाँ जुड़ाई अमर अमर वह प्यार भरी नाती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। ईश्वर मस्त यहाँ नहलाए, माया मस्त यहाँ धुलवाए। अमृत पान कराया देकर न नवजीवन कांति। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। आदि अनेक यहाँ पर फन पे भाई मास्टर डॉक्टर चमके। कव्वाली और भजन हुए जो गूंज भी उठती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। खेले कूदे दौड़े भागे छोटे बड़े मेहर रत लागे। थाप मजाक मस्करी और शिक्षा बातें सब बीती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। यहाँ प्रभु ने खुद है लिखा धुनी पर अजरामर गाथा। जिसको पढ़कर जग जानेगा गूढ़ सभी अंती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मोहम्मद का दादा वह प्यारा अली शाह का साहिब न्यारा। अरण गाँव का बाबा सबको दियो प्रेम पाती। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। धरती का यह महान तीरथ आएंगे चौदिशा से यात्रिक। चरणों में झुककर मेहर के चरणों में झुककर मेहर के पाएंगे शांति। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। अनंत की सब कथा है न्यारी सुनकर पढ़कर जगती हारी। मधुसूदन बस इतना कहता याद नहीं जाती। मेरे प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेरे प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। मेहर के चरणों ने स्पर्शी ये सारी धरती। मेरे प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी।
प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। पावन माटी मेरे प्रेमियों माथे धर लो ये पावन माटी। अवतार मेहरबाद की जय।
आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। ऐसे भजन सुनकर एरज जी हमेशा बोलते थे, जो प्रस्तुत करते थे, कि अभी तक कहाँ थे आप लोग। और ये सबसे बड़ा कॉम्प्लीमेंट है। और दूसरी चीज़ ये जो आज अभी आप लोगों ने भजन किया, तो ये 2 दिन से जो प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, जो चर्चा हो रही है, जिस बात की महिमा हो रही है, वो महिमा इसमें प्रकट हुई इस गीत में और अपने दिलों में वो समा गई। इसके लिए आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अभी हमारे बीच में डॉक्टर सोनी साहब हैं और इसके बाद डॉक्टर सोनी साहब के बाद हम आमंत्रित करेंगे हमारे श्रीधर केलकर भाई साहब को इस पूरे कार्यक्रम के बारे में जो भी कुछ है, समापन। और एक फिल्म है, यदि वो समय बचा तो बाद में हम दिखाएंगे, मगर फिर समय नहीं बचता है, इसलिए श्रीधर भाई साहब से प्रार्थना है कि इसके बाद वो अपने उद्गार इस संबंध में, इस कार्यक्रम के संबंध में हम सबके साथ शेयर करें। वी आर रिक्वेस्टिंग श्री श्रीधर भाई साहब just to share his feelings about this 2 days program after Dr. Soni's presentation. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
मेरे पिताजी का गाना है, ये उनकी आइडेंटिटी है। आप लोगों ने बहुत बार सुना है। आज माहौल सब पुराने गाने को याद करने का है, तो मैं उनका गाना गाता हूँ। 1963 में मैं मेरे पिताजी के साथ जब रेलवे स्टेशन जरा एडजस्ट करते थे, इतने में बात कर दूँ, तो रेलवे स्टेशन के सामने एक बहुत छोटी सी धर्मशाला में मैं मेरे पिताजी के साथ ठहरा हुआ था। और सुबह 9 बजे बाबा ने कहा था कि 9 बजे बच्चू आ जाना। तो मेरे पिताजी आराम से 8:30 को टहलते टहलते निकले। कुछ 8:45 बजे हो गए, तो वो रेलवे का ओवर ब्रिज है, उसके ओवर ब्रिज पर सामने से डॉक्टर भरूचा साइकिल लेके आए। बोले बाबा बहुत गुस्से है तुम्हारे पर, ये साइकिल पकड़ के जल्दी से आप गुरु प्रसाद पहुँचो। तो जब वो गुरु प्रसाद पहुँचे तो बाबा ने कहा कि कितने बजे? तो बोले बाबा आपने 9 बजे बुलाया था, मैं तो 8:45 पर वो रेलवे क्रॉसिंग पे था, 9 बजे मैं आ जाता। अरे ऐसा नहीं चलता है। बोले मैंने तुमको 9 बजे बुलाया, मतलब आपको 8:30 को यहाँ हाजिर होना है। तुम वो गाने वाले लोग हैं, चलता है थोड़ा ऐसा है। बाबा के यहाँ नहीं चलता है। 9 बजे बुलाया, 8:30 को हाजिर होना है। ओ लंबे बाल वाले, ओ जादू नयन वाले, ओ भक्तन के रखवाले, ओ सफेद कफनी वाले, ओ सफेद कफनी वाले, लाखों सलाम तुमको, लाखों सलाम। ओ सफेद कफनी वाले,
कफनी वाले तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम,
तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम,
तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम।
ओ सफेद कफनी वाले,
ओ सफेद कफनी वाले
तुम पे लाखों सलाम,
तुम पे लाखों सलाम।
जग शांति का ये मौन लिया,
जग शांति का ये मौन लिया,
ये महान तपस्या तूने किया,
ये महातपस्या तूने किया।
ओ मेहराबाद वाले,
ओ मेहराबाद वाले
तुम पे लाखों
सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम।
मनमोहक है तेरी मूरत,
मनमोहक है तेरी मूरत,
जीवर भर दे तू ये सूरत,
जीवन भर दे तू ये सूरत।
लंबे बाल वाले,
ओ लंबे बाल वाले
तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे
लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे
तुम साथे जे प्रीति जोड़े, तुम साथे
जे प्रीति जोड़े,
उसका दुख दरिद्र तू तोड़े,
उसका दुख दरिद्र तोड़े।
तुम साथे जे प्रीति जोड़े, उसका दुख दरिद्र तू तोड़े, तुम साथे जे प्रीति जोड़े,
उसका
दुख दरिद्र तू तोड़े, तुम साथे जे प्रीति जोड़े, उसका दुख दरिद्र तू तोड़े। जादू नयन वाले,
ओ जादू नयन वाले,
ओ बाबा जादू नयन
वाले
हाँ भक्तन के रखवाले, तुम पे
लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम।
मेरी खबर नाथ तुम लेना,
ओ मेरी खबर नाथ तुम लेना,
ओ मेरी खबर नाथ तुम लेना, ये जग में हूँ अकेला, ओ मेरी खबर नाथ तुम लेना,
ये जग में हूँ अकेला,
मेरी खबर नाथ तुम लेना, इस जग में हूँ अकेला, मेरी खबर नाथ तुम लेना, ये जग में हूँ
अकेला,
मेरी खबर नाथ तुम लेना, इस जग
में हूँ अकेला।
ओ भक्तन के रखवाले,
ओ भक्तन के रखवाले,
ओ जादू नयन वाले, तुम पे लाखों
सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम।
तुम बिन मेरा कौन सहारा,
तुम बिन मेरा कौन सहारा,
मुझे लगा दो ये भव पारा,
मुझे लगा दो ये भव पारा।
तुम बिन मेरा
पारा
पवित्र चरणन वाले बाबा,
पवित्र चरणन वाले
तुम पे
लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम।
ये बालक के सलाम लेना,
ये बालक के सलाम लेना,
ओ मुझे चरण की भक्ति देना,
ओ मुझे चरण की भक्ति देना।
ये बालक के सलाम लेना,
ये बालक के सलाम लेना,
ये बालक की सलाम लेना, मुझे चरण की भक्ति देना।
ये बालक की सलाम लेना, मुझे चरण की भक्ति देना।
ये बालक की सलाम लेना, मुझे चरण की भक्ति देना।
ये बालक की सलाम लेना, मुझे चरण की भक्ति देना।
ये बालक की सलाम लेना,
मुझे चरण की भक्ति देना।
भव सागर तराने वाले,
भव सागर तराने वाले,
ओ भक्तन के रखवाले,
ओ जादू नैनन वाले,
ओ लंबे बाल वाले, तुम पे
लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम,
तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे लाखों सलाम, तुम पे
लाखों सलाम,
सलाम,
लाखों सलाम,
सलाम,
लाखों सलाम।
क्या बात है यार।
Dr. Saab, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. अभी हमारे बीच में श्रीधर भाई साहब को आमंत्रित करते हैं। वो इस पूरे कार्यक्रम के संबंध में अपने उद्गार व्यक्त करेंगे. He will give the impression about this whole program, 2 days program. And then we will see if time permits, then the declared film would be there. Otherwise, we would drop it.
If you have time, you can start the film. It is just 6 o'clock now.
अभी आप बोलिए ना, फिर बाद में गड़बड़ हो जाता है, समय नहीं मिलता.
1-2 मिनट तो भी.
हाँ ठीक है, जो भी बोले.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. They say the all good things must come to an end. Otherwise, we start feeling bored. A beautifully organized program over 2 days. When we, as I said earlier, when we were discussing about this program, we thought people were very uncomfortable यहाँ पे. गर्मी बहुत होगी, लोगों को ऐसा लगेगा कब हम यहाँ से बाहर निकलते हैं. एक सुझाव ऐसा आया था कि हम कूलर्स रखेंगे बाजू में, लेकिन कूलर्स का आवाज़ ज़्यादा आता है, हवा कम आती है. तो वो एक इट वाज शॉट डाउन. बट देखिए, हमारे परमपिता अवतार मेहर बाबा इतने दयालु है. उनको लगा कि मेरे प्रियतम यहाँ पे आने वाले हैं, मेरे चाहने वाले यहाँ पे आने वाले हैं, तो उनकी कंफर्ट के लिए मुझे कुछ भी करना चाहिए. तो देयर हैड बीन partially cloudy skies over last 2 days, so we don't feel that much heat here. The little small shower Baba gave us a shower of grace also yesterday, little shower. Baba says, not too much. I don't want to drench you, but I want to just make you comfortable by reducing your temperature. तो ये जो प्रोग्राम है, और देखो, people have spontaneously participated, sent their presentations, and the presentation was so beautiful. We never felt that why it is going on and on and on. No, they were short time, as per the time provided, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, like that. And everybody cooperated with giving those presentations, very relevant presentation. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि presentation देते हैं लोग, but they forget the subject for which the presentation is being given, and they have their own ideas which they put into this. But it doesn't happen this time. Every presentation was related to something about Meherabad, development of Meherabad, how it came about, what is the importance of Meherabad, and all these things really, I would say, I would appreciate beautifully, especially Gokarna ji ने जो लोगों को invite किया था presentation के लिए, and he had given a beautiful idea, I would believe, what we need here to be presented. There are a lot of people had contacted him. Somebody wanted to perform a dance, somebody wanted to perform some other skit, which is not relevant, and he had to really tell them, sorry, this is not the occasion for which this sort of a performance is needed. People thought, in Amar Tithi we have these dances and everything, so we can have this type of presentations here also. But he said, no, we don't want to all those things. We want something which will speak about beloved Baba's advent, Baba's coming here, how he came, and how this Meherabad is established. So I believe all of you must have got a good idea what happened about 100 years back, when I think we were in some other life probably. We do not know who we were. Probably some of us may be here also during that time. But God is so merciful that after one life ends, He erases all the memories. And doesn't, because one life's memories are more than enough for us to be miserable many times. So why carry the burden of several thousands of lives? So He is very merciful. He erases everything and sends us back with a fresh slate. So wonderful, thank you. And I would say that those who came braving this heat and everything, inconvenience, appreciate the participation of nearly 1,000 people who are come here for this program. And maybe whenever we organize such programs, there should be some like similar response from people. If you do not get the response with 200 people, this would not have been a very happy occasion to celebrate. Because our original idea was to have the program in Hostel A, but then response was so tremendous from people that we had to move it on the hill, and it was appropriately moved on the hill in front of Baba's Samadhi. He is watching from there what is happening and what we are presenting and what we are talking about the development of Meherabad. So I'm happy that this program has come, was a wonderful program, successful program, and maybe I wish in future also, whenever we give a call like this, we don't know who will be here in future. Somebody else will be there. Maybe Gokarn may not be there, I may not be there, but somebody else will be there. And many of you also, I do not know, senior people, but junior people are also there, so they will take over and they will respond enthusiastically and make this program very successful. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
This was out of schedule, with the apprehension that we may not have time to get this wonderful impression from our Sridhar Bhai Sahab, who has been looking after these programs for last 20 years. The first library department program was organized in 2004, and since then it is continuously going on, different kinds of programs, and his support was there, understanding was there, and this is how these programs have come about, and you have witnessed yourself the significance and utility of these programs. So now we have the time for this particular film, which is related to Baba's early life up to his meeting with Upasni Maharaj, because whatever we have shared here in these 2 days, this is the aftermath of Upasni Maharaj's work with Avatar Meher Baba. So what was before that, this is given in this short film. So we have now Meher Baba and 5 Perfect Master video by Ed Legum and Anthony Williams. And please have this serial number 11. In 1890, from his birth in 1894 to the time he was 19 years old, Merwan Irani did not know his From his birth in 1894 to the time he was 19 years old, Merwan Irani did not know his spiritual identity. Although the 5 perfect masters veiled him from this knowledge, Merwan's nature and experiences gave him and those close to him glimpses that he was destined to be different from other men. In this depiction, a number of profound events from his childhood to his momentous meeting with the perfect master Hazrat Babajan in 1913, and later on his meeting with other perfect masters of the time are presented here through some animated scenes. Meher Baba's story after his childhood takes on great significance after he encounters the 5 perfect masters who had brought him down into human form as Merwan Irani. After this encounter, they worked with him to help him master infinite knowledge, infinite power, and infinite bliss. They revealed to him his true divine identity as the avatar of the age, after which the world hailed him as Avatar Meher Baba. 1894, Pune, India. A young mother, Shireen Irani, fears for her baby Merwan. A goddess appears from the well and tells Shireen, "Give me your son, give him to me." Shireen awakens and says, "It was a dream, what a relief, but what does it mean?" Merwan is a very unusual child. He is playing with a cobra, and on seeing this, Shireen cries out, "Help, help." Even the cobra finds him charming, but on hearing Shireen's cry, the cobra silently leaves Merwan. One day in the school, 5-year-old Merwan experiences the light of God and falls from his desk. The teacher asks him, "Merwan, are you all right? What happened to you?" "A halo. I saw a divine halo," Merwan says. 16-year-old Merwan Irani was given a book about Lord Buddha by his friend. In this, he reads Lord Buddha saying, "When I return to earth, I will be called Maitreya, the merciful one." Suddenly, Merwan feels that I am the Buddha. He then wonders, "Am I really the Buddha?" An inner voice answers, "Yes, Merwan, you are." In May 1913, Merwan is 19 years old. While he is bicycling from his college to his home, his eyes meet the eyes of an ancient woman on the street. For him, for everyone, and for
everything in creation, all is about to change. This old woman, Hazrat Babajan, considered by some to be a mad woman, but known to Meherwan to be a Muslim saint, beckons to him. Meherwan goes to her and she embraces him, calling out, Mera pyara beta, my beloved son. Dazzled by the effect of Babajan's embrace, Meherwan merges with the ocean of bliss. After this experience, Meherwan withdraws from his studies, from sports and games, from his friends and families. For 7 months, his life becomes meaningless except when he is at the side of Hazrat Babajan, where he would go every evening and stay with her till late at night. In January 1914, Meherwan is about to leave Babajan for the night. She holds his face in her hands and her loving kiss lifts the veil and Meherwan attains God consciousness. Babajan declares, This is my beloved son. He will one day shake the world and all humanity will be benefited by him. Insensible to his surroundings, Meherwan finds his way home and takes to his bed and drowns in the infinitude of God. By Meherwan's bedside, Shireen cries out, Merog, Merog, can you hear me? Merog, can you see me? What's happened to you, my darling? Merog, you will be all right. Merog lies back down and remains in a coma-like condition. For 3 days, he never closes his eyes, never sleeps, and eats nothing. Shireen says to her husband, It's been a week, Shehryar, and no improvement. We must call in physicians to help Merog regain his peace of mind. The best physicians in Pune can do nothing. Even an injection of morphine has no effect. Mother, I must find out what the old woman has done to Merog. Will you come with me to visit Babajan? Asked Shireen. Yes, Shireen, I will accompany you, her mother Golandun says. I know Meherwan visits you frequently. What have you done to my son? Shireen demands of Babajan. Why does he visit you? He has never acted like this before. Babajan replies, Meherwan, Meherwan, Mera pyara beta, my beloved son. The nerve of her to call Merog her son. How dare she? Exclaims Shireen. Meherwan, Meherwan, he will shake the world. He will awaken the world. Babajan repeats. Babajan shares stories of Persia with Shireen's mother Golandun. They sing, laugh and cry together, remembering the home they left behind. Dismayed, Shireen leaves with none of her questions answered. Over the next 12 months, Meherwan shows some signs of returning to his normal self. Traveling with his good friend Behramji, they take off for days at a time in search of holy men. Behramji, I am going far away on a difficult journey. I may not be back for a long time, Meherwan tells him. April 1915, Meherwan's long trip ends at Kedgaon, just 31 miles from Pune. Do you know the whereabouts of Narayan Maharaj's ashram? Meherwan asks someone. Yes, it is 7 miles from this place. I can tell you how to go, he replies. Meherwan becomes dazed during his long walk. Finally, he enters the grounds of the ashram. Where is Narayan Maharaj? Meherwan asks another person. He is at his palace. Darshan is being held. Go, Narayan is giving his blessings, the man responds. Meherwan approaches Narayan Maharaj's palace. Perfect master Narayan Maharaj, whose very name means God, the king, is gentle, kind and childlike. Narayan stops, the darshan and rises from his gadi to greet Meherban. Narayan gently leads Meherban up the steps to take his seat on the gadi. Narayan garlands Meherban. Through this contact with Narayan, Meherban now begins to feel the glory of his godhood. Meherban returns to Pune and within days begins travelling again to meet the third perfect master, Tajuddin Baba. Meherban and Behramji take a train to Nagpur, about 550 miles to the northeast. At the train station, Meherban and Behramji travel the last 10 miles by horse-drawn tonga to the town of Waqi Sharif. Meherban and Behramji arrive at Tajuddin Baba's ashram. This is not a good day to see Tajuddin. The master is in a very bad mood, wants someone. If you go to him, be prepared to be scolded. You will get a real tongue lashing. He is waiting for me. Tajuddin has been waiting for me to arrive, Meherban says. The fragrance of roses fills the air as Meherban and Tajuddin meet for the first time. Tajuddin approaches Meherban. Tajuddin silently presents the roses to Meherban. Tajuddin calls Meherban my rose, my heavenly rose. You have no idea what Taj has bestowed on me through these flowers, Meherban says. Meherban has received his divine crown. Back in Pune, accompanied by his close friend Khodu, Meherban resumes his late night visits with Babajan. Babajan declares, the treasure is yours to have now. The key is there. Go to Shirdi, my son. There is a master named Sai, a holy one there. Go and see Sai. See if he will give you the key now. Take the key from the Sai. December 1915, Khodu and Meherban travel 80 difficult miles to Shirdi. We have come to see Sai Baba. Let us pass. Behramji says to men outside Sai's temple. You cannot see Sai Baba, this man replies. No one can see him. He has given orders that no one should come for darshan today. You have to go back from where you came. But we have come all the way from Pune. We must see Sai Baba. Please understand. The man is adamant. We must obey Sai Baba's instructions. We cannot allow anyone to pass by here. It looks like we will have to go back. These men will beat us if we try to pass them. Khodu warns. Let us wait by the tree. If you are afraid of them, you can go back. But I have come to see Sai Baba, and I will. The night turns bitterly cold as Khodu shivers. Meherban shows no sign of discomfort. Someone calls out, Sai Baba is calling you too. Another one says, go to this mosque, but he is still in a foul mood. Be careful. Upon entering Sai's room, Sai says to them, I want to see that fellow only. Who is your friend? Sai asks Khodu. What does he want? Khodu replies, his name is Meherban Shehryar Irani. He is very devotional and eagerly desires your darshan, Holy One. Babajan in Pune has told us about you, Sai. Sai exclaims, no, I won't. I won't allow him to see me. I won't let him come. Give me all your money, all of it. Now go and tell your friend, I won't see him. He cannot come to me. Khodu tells Meherban what Sai Baba said. Meherban replies, no, let us just wait. I must see him and I will. Later in the day, Meherban finally meets Sai Baba and Baba prostrates before Sai. Then Sai Baba shouts out, Parvardigar. With this one word, Parvardigar, Sai Baba gives Meherban infinite power. Parvardigar means God the Almighty Sustainer. Now Sai Baba prostrates before Baba and again calls out Parvardigar. For a third time, Sai Baba shouts, Parvardigar. Meherban and Khodu immediately walk 3 miles to Khandova temple to meet the perfect master Upasni Maharaj. Upasni Maharaj throws a stone at Meherban, striking him on the forehead where Babajan has kissed him. With the impact of this stone, Meherban starts seeing more of the gross world again for the first time in nearly 2 years. Under the care of Upasni Maharaj, it will take Meherban another 7 years to completely regain his worldly consciousness. Khodu wonders, is Meherban hurt? Has he stopped bleeding? What is happening there? 2 days and nights pass, and finally Meherban comes out of the temple with Upasni Maharaj. Upasni Maharaj tells Khodu, take care of your friend. Make certain you see that he gets back to Pune safely. Although Khodu has Meherban's forehead clean and bandaged, for the next 7 years, Meherban practices a gruesome ritual which prevents his wound from healing. While coming down from the state of God to the state of man, Meherban endures indescribable suffering. To gain some relief, he pounds his forehead against stone, rock or tree, hour after hour, until he collapses. Meherban wipes the blood from his face and hides the wound beneath his turban. 1916 to 1920, to regain full consciousness of the gross world, Meherban continues to visit Babajan in Pune, who sends him to visit Upasni in Sakori, where he travels often. Babajan tells Meherban, my son, now go and get your share from the Hindu Upasni. During these years, Meherban manages a toddy shop, doing all the dirty work and dispensing advice and help to all who call on him. Meherban also draws to him his first close disciples, his Mandli. From 1920 onwards, all those who become associated with Meherban Shehryar Irani call him Meher Baba, the compassionate father. In 1922, Meherban has completed his work with Upasni Maharaj, and Maharaj says to Meherban, Ah Meherban, you are Adi Shakti, the primal force, you are the avatar. Ah Meherban, my dear Meherban. Meherban is about to depart. Upasni Maharaj's women disciples rush to have his darshan. Through Upasni Maharaj, Meherban has attained infinite knowledge and now begins his divine mission of the avatar of the age, Meher Baba.
Throw the stone, it's a flower of your love, it's a forehead of the Lord, so it pours compassion on the world. Wear a sack, it's your way to show us that you are just the richest man, you are one with the only one. Oh great soul, you have reached a sacred goal. Kashinat, Kashinat, you became a Upasni Maharaj. You have fought, you've defeated all the war. 'Cause your perfect silence voice leading you to the realm of God. 1 year fast, but your food was sacrificed. Hunger, thirst, those were your boys, who you played with in the holy road. Few ones are the brave today who give their lives in a prayer where he was the divine soul who passed me. Maharaj was one with the only one.
और ढूंढने के पीछे भी कारण क्या था कि कुछ लोगों ने उनके विभिन्न अवतारों की पूर्ण रूप से, पूर्ण श्रद्धा से अपने जीवन का निर्वाह किया। किसी ने राम को पूर्ण रूप से समर्पित जीवन जिया, किसी ने कृष्ण के प्रति, किसी ने ईसा मसीह के प्रति, किसी ने मोहम्मद के प्रति, और किसी ने बुद्ध के प्रति, किसी ने ज़ोरस्टर के प्रति। और उस समर्पित जीवन को स्वीकृति देने के लिए बाबा ने स्वतः उनको जाकर खोज निकाला। और इसलिए आप पढ़ते हैं बाबा की जीवनी में महत्वपूर्ण बात कि बहुत से लोगों ने उनमें जिस जिस अवतार के प्रति उनकी श्रद्धा थी उस रूप में बाबा को पाया। किसी ने उन्हें ईसा मसीह के रूप में पाया, किसी ने राम के रूप में पाया, किसी ने कृष्ण के रूप में पाया, किसी ने कुछ रूप में पाया। तो ये बाबा की कृपा है कि वो हमें अपने पास लेकर आए, हमें ये अवसर दिया कि हम उनके संपर्क में आ सकें और आज हम यहाँ सब एकत्रित होकर बैठ सकें। और इस एकत्रित होने का भी बाबा ने महत्व बताया है कि जब मेरे प्रेमी कहीं पर एकत्रित होकर बैठते हैं तो उनकी जो सामूहिक चेतना है, उस एक समय पर जब वो केंद्रीभूत होकर मेरे बात सोचते रहते हैं, मेरे बारे में विचार करते हैं, तो उनकी सामूहिक चेतना का मैं अपने कार्य के लिए उपयोग करता हूँ। और यहाँ पर भी हमें एक सबसे बड़ी भूल हमसे हो जाती है जनरली कि हम बाबा के समय को एक समय सीमा में बांध देते हैं कि बाबा 1864 से 1969 तक हमारे बीच थे। तो यहाँ भी हमारी चूक हो जाती है। बाबा समय सीमा के परे हैं और वो आज भी हैं हमारे बीच में, और हमारे बीच में आज भी कार्य कर रहे हैं। तो सबसे पहले हमारी कृतज्ञता उनके प्रति जाती है, और यदि उनके प्रति हम कृतज्ञ नहीं होते तो हमें ये अवसर नहीं मिलता। उसके बाद उनके प्रेम के कारण अभिभूत होकर एक आमंत्रण से आप सब उन्हें कितने कष्ट उठाकर, कितने तरह से तकलीफ उठाकर और किन किन चीज़ों को आपने छोड़कर इस कार्यक्रम में शामिल होने के लिए आप तत्पर हुए। आपने एक प्रोग्राम बनाया कि हम उस कार्यक्रम में जाएंगे और आप यहाँ आए। तो सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि आप सब भी उस कृतज्ञता के भागीदार हैं। फिर आप जब आए तो आपने आकर ही देखा होगा कि किस किस तरह से यहाँ पे लोगों ने समर्पित भाव से बाबा के जो प्रेमी यहाँ रहते हैं किस किस तरह से तैयारियाँ की हैं। हम लोगों ने तो उसकी अपेक्षा भी नहीं की थी। यदि कल के प्रोग्राम को आपने ध्यान से देखा होगा तो वहाँ पर एक एक चीज़ को किस तरह से सजाया गया था। वो कुआं जिससे बाबा ने पानी पिया था, वो वृक्ष जहाँ बाबा बैठे थे, वो स्थान किस तरह से सजाया गया था। तो क्यों सजाया गया था? जिन्होंने वो कार्य किया उनके मन में प्रेम भरा हुआ था, और जो उनके प्रेमी आने वाले थे उनके लिए प्रेम भरा था, समर्पित भाव थी। और यदि आपने ध्यान से नहीं देखा हो तो फिर से फिल्म में देखिएगा। बाबा की जितनी भी फिल्म हैं उनमें बाबा जब खुद हाथ जोड़ते हैं तो वो बाबा आपको आशीर्वाद नहीं दे रहे, बल्कि आपके प्रति कृतज्ञता व्यक्त कर रहे हैं, अपने प्रेमी के प्रति विनम्रता व्यक्त कर रहे हैं। और यदि उसी रूप में आप किसी नेता के हाथ जोड़ते हुए देखें तो वो नेता आपसे कुछ अपेक्षा करता है, आपसे फॉलोइंग मांगता है, आपसे वोट मांगता है। और यहाँ बाबा स्वतः आपके प्रति धन्यवाद व्यक्त कर रहे हैं कि तुम आए मेरे प्रेम के आमंत्रण से। तो ये सब चीज़ें देखने का अवसर मिला। यहाँ पे कितनी सुंदरता से स्टेज को सजाया गया, बाबा की फ़ोटो रखी गई, कहाँ कहाँ से लोगों ने बाबा के चित्रों को इकट्ठा किया और 2 दिन तक आपके मनों को केंद्रीभूत रखा, आपको फोकस रखा कि आप उसी में समाहित होते जाएं। अभी हम एक एक व्यक्ति का नाम नहीं ले सकते कि किसने क्या किया, मगर आप सबकी तरफ से और उन सब की तरफ से आपको सामूहिक रूप से हम धन्यवाद देते हैं। नाम लेने से तो आज का पूरा कार्यक्रम मध्य रात्रि गुजर जाएगी, आपका भोजन चूक जाएगा। इससे अच्छा कि वो जिनके लिए हम ये कह रहे हैं वो स्वतः समझ सकें, आप सब समझ सकें, और हम उस कृतज्ञता से कभी उबर नहीं सकते। यहाँ पर ना केवल इतनी बात है, ये जो छोटे छोटे गमलों में पौधे रखे हुए हैं, ये सब आपको एक खुशी दे रहे हैं, एक खुशी का माहौल दे रहे हैं। और पुराने यदि अवतारों के बातों को, उनके प्रगटीकरण को यदि हम लें, तो रामचंद्र जी ने तो ये तक बताया है कि जब अवतार होता है तो अवतार के साथ जो निराकार रूप में बहुत सारे आत्माएं रहती हैं, जिनको हम एंजल्स कहते हैं, देवी देवता कहते हैं, वो तरह तरह से न केवल मानव रूप में उनकी सहायता करने आते हैं, बल्कि वो अलग अलग भौतिक वस्तुओं के रूप में आते हैं। उन्होंने यहाँ तक बताया था कि जो उनका धनुष बाण है, उनकी चप्पल है, उनकी खड़ाऊँ हैं, वो भी कोई देवी देवता ने वो रूप धारण किया। तो आज हमारे बीच में ये माइक के इतने सिस्टम, ये नए नए डिजिटल सिस्टम्स हैं, ये कौन है? ये उनके कार्य में सहयोग देने वाले कौन आत्मा है, यह हमें नहीं मालूम, न हम जान सकेंगे कभी। मगर एक एक चीज़ यहाँ पर कृतज्ञता का पात्र है, एक एक कण यहाँ पर कृतज्ञता का पात्र है। और एक और हम भूल करते हैं, बाबा ने स्वतः, अभी शायद आप जो फिल्म देखेंगे उसमें मेहराबाद में जो दिखाई गई पुरानी फिल्म है, उनकी क्लिपिंग्स दिखाई गई, तो उसमें एक बहुत ही मार्मिक चित्र है। बाबा 1955 में अपने प्रेमियों को नीचे से लेकर ऊपर आ रहे हैं समाधि के दर्शन कराने, और उन्होंने रुक कर बीच में, क्योंकि जो लोग साथ में आ रहे हैं वो भी पूरी तौर से समर्पित भाव से उसका फ़ायदा नहीं उठा रहे कि बाबा के साथ चलने का अवसर मिल रहा है। तो आप उसमें देखेंगे कि वो बाबा तो साथ में है, मगर वो पीछे कैमरे की तरफ देख रहे हैं कि कोई मेरी फ़ोटो उतार रहा है कि नहीं उतार रहा है। तो बाबा वहाँ पर रुक कर बोलते हैं कि आज तुम मेरे साथ हो, फिर भी तुम्हारा ध्यान मुझ पर केंद्रित नहीं है। एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि यहाँ की धूल में लोग लौटेंगे और धूल में अपने आप को समाहित कर लेंगे। तो ऐसी चीज़ें बाबा ने खुद केंद्रित अपना ध्यान उस तरफ दिलाया है, और जिन जिन बातों की तरफ ध्यान दिलाया है उन सब के प्रति हम कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करते हैं। आप सबकी ओर से, आप सबके प्रति और सबके सम्मिलित रूप से हम बाबा के प्रति कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करते हैं। और एक और महत्वपूर्ण बात है, आरती के पहले जो कुछ भी हुआ, अभी सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जो विचार है वो है, जब हम कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करते हैं तो कृतज्ञता भी बहुत सारे लैंग्वेजेस में व्यक्त नहीं की जाती, वो हृदय की भाषा है। तो अपने को समझ में आए चाहे नहीं समझ में आए, ये मालूम हो जाना चाहिए कि हम कृतज्ञता व्यक्त कर रहे हैं। फिर भी इसके बीच में हम रोक कर अंत करने के पहले तेलुगु भाषा में उसका वो ट्रांसलेशन करने की कोशिश करेंगे। अभी जो बात है यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ी कि हम लोगों को बहुत मुश्किल होता है, जिसके लिए हमें क्षमा मांगना पड़ती है, बीच बीच में रोकना पड़ता है, समय के लिए बंधन होता है। तो उसका कारण ये है कि प्रेम बेल में फूल न पत्ते, प्रेम बेल में फूल न पत्ते, न फल इसमें आए, प्रेमी का पागलपन देखो आग से आग जलाए। इसमें एक साइंस की थ्योरी लगती है। हमारे बीच में एक महान साइंटिस्ट हो गए हैं आइंस्टाइन, बाबा भी उनकी तारीफ करते थे, और उनकी एक थ्योरी ऑफ रिलेटिविटी है। उस रिलेटिविटी का एक साधारण उपयोग हमारे जीवन में ये होता है कि जब हम प्रेम में रहते हैं, किसी प्रेम में डूबे रहते हैं, तो हमारा 1 घंटा भी हमें 1 मिनट जैसा लगता है, और जब हम किसी के साथ किसी दुर्भावना में डूबे रहते हैं तो 1 मिनट हमें 1 घंटे जैसा लगता है, वो असह्य हो जाता है। तो यहाँ पर जो भी प्रस्तुतिकरण होते थे उसमें सबसे बड़ी जो बाधा आती थी वो समय की आती थी, हम लोग को बीच में रोकना पड़ता था। क्यों? क्योंकि वो प्रेमी अपने जो भी गुण हैं, प्रेम के गुण, उसमें वो डूब के भूल जाता है कि उसको समय सीमा पे कार्यक्रम को ख़त्म करना है। और ये जो जिनको संचालन करना पड़ता है उनको ये कठोर काम करना पड़ता है। तो इसके लिए आप सब हम लोग को क्षमा करेंगे क्योंकि देखने वाले को भी लगता है कि अरे वो तो बहुत अच्छा गा रहे थे, उसको बीच में क्यों रोक दिया, ये बहुत अच्छा भाषण दे रहा था, बीच में क्यों रोक दिया, तो वो दूसरे का चांस चला जाता अगले वाले को। तो ये कठिन कार्य हम लोगों को करना पड़ता है, तो ये भी कृतज्ञता के अंतर आता है, और इसके लिए हम लोगों को आप सब लोग क्षमा करेंगे। अभी हम आमंत्रित करते हैं अंत में, ये कार्यक्रम समाप्त होने के पहले आरती का टाइम होगा, तो आप सब यहीं पर से आरती में सम्मिलित होइए और उसके बाद 7:15 बजे वापस आ जाइए इसी जगह, यहाँ से फिल्म आपको दिखलाई जाएगी। तो अभी हमारे तेलुगु ग्रुप के लोग जो अपना करना चाहते हैं भाषांतर, उनको आमंत्रित करते हैं। शायद हमारे रामकृष्णैया जी ही इसको बोलेंगे, आके बोलिए। आप इसका भी बोल दीजिए, बुक का।
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। All know Kavi Baburao Nakle of RV near Wardha. He wrote many poems, many ghazals, gaane sab likhe the. So he has written 43rd book called Geet Meherayan. And one day he requested me, some Telugu people are asking, why don't you translate it into Telugu from Marathi? So I translated it into Marathi when I was in USA during COVID time. So he was happy. His son is there. I will ask him, Sanjay Nakhleji aiye. And I request Sridhar Kelkarji to release this book and hand over to son of Nakhleji. Because of his age, he has not come, Nakhle. So, ఇది గీత మెహరాయణం అని తెలుగులో నేను మరాఠీ నుంచి బాబురావు నాఖలే మరాఠీలో చేసిన 65 పాటల్లో బాబా జీవిత చరిత్ర, దీన్ని తెలుగులోకి చేశాను. ఎప్పుడో ఆయన చాలాసార్లు ఫోన్ చేశారు ఇది చేయమని. మరాఠీ నుంచి చేయడం కష్టంగా ఉన్నా చేయటం జరిగింది. సో ఇది ఇప్పుడు శ్రీధర్ కేల్కర్ గారిని దీన్ని ये गीत मेहरायण बाबूराव नाखले जी लिखे थे. मुझे रिक्वेस्ट किए थे कि इसको तेलुगु में करो, बहुत सारे तेलुगु लोग पूछ रहे हैं, तो आई हैव ट्रांसलेटेड इट. ये उसको मैं तेलुगु में ट्रांसलेट किया. अभी श्रीधर जी उसको उद्घाटन करेंगे, उसका रिलीज करेंगे. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.
एक मिनिट. जय बाबा. गीत मेहरायण हे मराठीमधून कवी बाबूराव नाखलेंचं मराठीमधून तेलुगूमध्ये ट्रान्सफर करण्याने जीवाचं अहोरात्र पूर्ण करून त्यांनी केलेलं आहे. दरवर्षी मी याचं झालं का, तुमचं ट्रान्सलेशन झालं का, हा नाही पुढच्या वर्षी करतो, पुढच्या वर्षी करतो, असं करता करता त्यांनी बरोबर 3 वर्ष यावर्षी फायनलच करतो बोलले. मी 31 जानेवारीला आलो होतो, माझ्या हस्ते ते झालं होतं उद्घाटन वगैरे. तर यावर्षी मी फायनल करतो म्हणजे शब्द दिला म्हणजे तुला, आणि मी वडिलांना सांगितलं पण यावेळी शब्द दिला पूर्ण करेल. तर ते बघा सहयोग कसा जमून आला आणि कसा जुळून आला. आज बाबांना 100 वर्ष झाले इथे पाय ठेवला टेकड्यावर आणि टेकडीवर, आणि बाबांच्या कृपेने म्हणा यावर्षी बरोबर त्यांनी हे पुस्तक रिलीज केलं, त्यांचा शब्द त्यांनी पार पडला. जय मेहर बाबा.
ये किताब आप ही ले जाइए.
बाबूराव जी used to sing Baba bhajans everywhere. Because of his health, I think he couldn't come, that he would have been here also. And our Ramkrishna Yaji has become a composer. He has to translate the songs into Telugu songs, I believe.
Marathi to
Marathi songs to Telugu songs. So Baburao ji Nakle has forced him to become a poet. I would say, I'm happy. So one more poet is added to the Baba, all Baba literature, and we'll have many more Baba bhajans and everything from Ramkrishna Yaji. Jai Baba.
रामकृष्ण अय्याचं अवतार बाबा केंद्र आरवीतर्फे सर्वांच्या वतीने मी त्यांचं आभार मानतो. तेलुगूमध्ये त्यांनी ट्रान्सलेशन केलं आमच्या वडिलाच्या पुस्तकाचं.
ये 3 आप ले जाइए, अच्छा इनको दीजिए और
हाँ,
किसी
ठीक है।
అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా కీ జై. నన్ను ఇందాక మనందరం విన్నాము, ఆయన ఓట్ ఆఫ్ థ్యాంక్స్ చెప్తూ ముందుగా ఓట్ ఆఫ్ థ్యాంక్స్ బాబాకే చెప్పాలి అన్నారు. ఎందుకంటే ఆయన గతం నుంచి తీసుకొచ్చారు. మనం రామచంద్ర ప్రభు అంటే రామావతారంలో రావణునితో ఉన్నామేమో, రామునితో ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారో తెలియదు. అలాగే ప్రతి యుగంలో మనం ఆయనకు వ్యతిరేకులుగా ఉన్నామో ఆయనకు అనుకూలంగా ఉన్నామో తెలియదు. అయినా కూడా మనలో ఆయనకు దగ్గరయ్యే అవకాశం ఆయన గ్రహించి అందరి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి ఎవరెవరికి ఏ అవతార కాలం ఏ అవతార నామ రూపాల మీద వారికి భక్తి శ్రద్ధలు ఉన్నాయో ఆ అవతార రూపాలతో నామాలతో వారికి దర్శనం ఇచ్చి తన దగ్గరికి తీసుకున్నారు. అలాగే మరి ఆయన కృప లేకపోతే మనం ఈ కార్యక్రమం చేసి ఉండేవాళ్ళం కాదు. కాబట్టి ముందుగా కృతజ్ఞతలు ఆయనకు చెప్పారు. తర్వాత నిన్న అక్కడ మనం చెట్టు దగ్గర చూసాం, దాన్ని ఎంత అందంగా అలంకరించారు. అక్కడ నిజంగా ఆ అట్మాస్ఫియరు అలా ఎప్పుడూ మనకు ఉండదు. నిన్న అంత ఆహ్లాదకరంగా అంత అందంగా అలంకరించబడి ఉండింది ఇది. అయితే అలా అలంకరించిన వాళ్ళకి ఇక్కడ ఈ స్టేజ్లో ఈ అరేంజ్మెంట్స్ అన్నీ చేసిన వాళ్ళలో ఆయన ఇంకా కొంచెం ముందుకెళ్ళి ఏం చెప్పారంటే, ఇప్పుడు మైకులు ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఎప్పుడైనా అవతారుడు భూమి మీదకి వచ్చినప్పుడు మనమే కాదు, ఆయన భక్తులు ప్రేమికులు ఆయన దగ్గర వాళ్ళే కాదు, మానవ రూపం లేకుండా ఉన్నటువంటి ముక్కోటి దేవతలు కూడా ఏదో రకంగా ఆయనకు సేవ చేయటానికి వస్తూ ఉంటారట. ఇప్పుడు ఈ మైకులు ఉన్నాయి, ఇవి ఉన్నాయి, కనబడని ఆత్మలన్నీ కూడా దేని ద్వారా ఏ రకమైన సేవ ఆయనకు చేస్తున్నాయో చెప్పలేము అంటూ అలా వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా నేను పేరున చెప్పాలంటే ఈ రాత్రి అంతా గడిచిపోతుంది, మీ భోజనాలు పోస్ట్పోన్ చేసుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. అందుకని అలా కాకుండా ఇక్కడ జరిగిన ప్రతిదానికి పాల్గొన్న వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా ఆయన కృతజ్ఞతలు చెప్పుతూ ఇది మరి మనకు ఆయన కృప లేకుండా ఇది సాధ్యమయ్యేది కాదంటూ ఆయనను ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్గొన్న ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ఆయన కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేశారు. గోకరన్ ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని ఏర్పాటు చేసిన వీళ్ళందరి వైపు నుంచి. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.
अभी आरती के लिए ब्रेक है. आप लोग जो यहीं से शामिल होना चाहते हैं वो आप रह सकते हैं, और जिनको जाना है कहीं वॉशरूम वगैरह जाना है और जो आरती में समाधि के पास जाना चाहते हैं तो वो जा सकते हैं और अपन यहीं से शामिल होंगे. इसके बाद 7:15 बजे बाबा की फ़िल्म दिखलाई जाएगी, जिसमें मेहराबाद में जो भी फिल्म्स दिखलाई गई हैं अब तक उनकी क्लिपिंग्स आपको दिखलाई जाएंगी. और फिर उसके बाद एक स्पेशल आइटम है जो पहले से घोषित नहीं है, और वो आंध्रा का एक बच्चों का ग्रुप है जो कोई डांस प्रस्तुत करेंगे 15 मिनट के लिए, और उसके बाद कार्यक्रम का समाप्त होगा गाते चलो के साथ हम सब इस कार्यक्रम से विदाई लेंगे. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. 7:15 बजे आप लोग अपने अपने स्थान पर आके बैठ जाइए ताकि फिल्म का आनंद ले सकें. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.